Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we are talking about all things Mercury in retrograde. Mercury is in charge of our communication, and one of the things that a lot of people hate about Mercury in retrograde is that your computer doesn't work right, or your cell phone isn't texting the way it should, or the messages that you are sending are not getting through clearly as you thought they were. So I really love Mercury in retrograde because it really teaches us some really valuable lessons that we can use throughout the whole year, even when Mercury's not in retrograde. So that's a really good thing. So Mercury is really in charge of all communication, all types of communication. So before you hit send on that email or on that text message, or even picking up the phone, really think about what you require communicating to the other person and really getting clear. A lot of times people call and they kind of linger on the phone and they kind of like talk about a whole bunch of other things, but they're really not talking about what they really want to say. Emails are the same way, or text messaging. I think a lot of people just grab their phone and they'll send a text message, but they're not really thinking through clearly what they want to communicate to the other person. You're talking about something that y'all talked about like 3 or 4 days ago, and they're not in the same mindset at that point. So reminding them like, hey, when we talked a few days ago, this is something that came up in my mind, helps it easier instead of going off on something that are going, wait, where did this come from? I get a lot of those text messages myself. So it's something to be really clear about with yourself, but also clear communication with other people. The other thing I tell a lot of clients is make sure that you're sending a clarification. When we are setting a date or a time for a meeting or something else, let's make sure that the communication is really clear between you and I on where we're going to meet and when we're going to meet. That causes so many less problems than anything else. So if you were going to meet a friend for dinner or lunch, once you've talked to them, you can always send a clarification text message or email and going, now I'm clarifying where we're going to meet and what time we're going to meet. I'm clarifying that we're going to meet at X restaurant at this time. And when they send that back to you, now you know that you're both on the same page. When you don't do that, a lot of times you may have been discussing 5 different times. Well, let's eat at 5 o'clock, or let's meet at 6 o'clock, or let's eat at 8 o'clock. It's one of those, when you do things like that, it makes it unclear sometimes, like what time exactly are we going to meet? Are we going to do something ahead of time, or are we going to do something afterwards? Clarifying that before you ever start on the event actually makes it really clear. And it kind of breaks down some other issues that you may be having with the person, or getting really clear about what you want to communicate with them at this time. I often will jot down notes for myself of people that I need to talk to, or what information I need to pass on to them. That's really clear. I will tell you that one of the things that's really important to kind of rethink during Mercury in retrograde is kind of rethinking kind of your life path or your ambitions, what you want to achieve at this time, because that's really our inner communication with ourselves. And a lot of times people will say, oh, I really want to achieve this, but they're not doing the actions to get them there. This is a really great time to take advantage of Mercury in retrograde and upgrading the words that you're using with yourself. What are you choosing now to draw into yourself? What are you choosing to bring that energy into you, and making new resolutions for yourself? I'm going to fix it this way. I'm going to communicate with myself like this. It makes it much easier. One of the other ones that come up for a lot of people is kind of rethinking their personal life path, what they're going through or what's going on around them. It's like, is this really where I want to be? Is this really what I want to accomplish in my life? Or do I not feel like I'm accomplishing my life purpose? And that's really important to communicate with yourself, because only you can make that judgment call. No one else can really make that judgment call for you. It's something that you have to make for yourself. So really keep this in mind as we move through Mercury in retrograde. What are the communications you want to upgrade? What are the life path changes or obligations you want to change or assist or adjust at this time frame? And making sure that you're clarifying things so you don't have as many miscommunications with other people. That's most important. I thank you for joining me for this Mercury in retrograde update, and I hope to have you have an amazing day.